Hey, Doug, we're live.
Cool.
We are live.
On a beautiful day.
Wednesday,
Yes.
the 29th of November. Yes.
Yeah.
We took a lot for us to get here.
Huh?
It took a lot for us to get here. We're a little late.
Yes. What do you mean, we, Chemo Sabi?
Well, we had some things that we had to scramble to get
Yeah.
together before we go live, and
Yeah.
one of those things that we needed to confirm was our in-person services that we're going to be having in the next
Yeah.
Few months.
Yeah, and you've got those dates.
Yeah, I got those
so-
dates. I got
yeah.
those dates from Penny, and I just wanted to make sure everybody's aware that we're going to be in person again on October 10th
Right.
at Tennessee River Park, and that's at Pavilion Number 1.
And that's a great speaker going to be that day.
Who's going to be speaking on? It's going to be you again.
Me
Word.
again. Damn.
No, we love when you speak. As a matter of fact, we get a lot of good responses. I actually got an email a couple days ago from one of our online viewers.
Okay.
And they spoke highly of the services.
Oh, great.
They actually compared what the services were a few months ago before
Yeah.
we lost our minister, and they compared it to
What
where
we're
we are
doing now.
now. And we, so they spoke highly of what you're
Well,
doing. So
that's
thank you
great.
so much. Yeah.
Yeah, my pleasure.
We've had a lot of positive feedback. We thank all of our viewers for showing up, for the contributions that we're getting. We've actually had an increase in contributions also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Very, very nice. As a matter of fact, Penny had all smiles on her face the other day when she went to the post office.
Yeah.
Just all kinds of stuff came
Yeah,
up.
yeah. So we're so grateful for that
Yeah.
stuff because it allows us to grow. You know,
Well, and the other thing too, I not only the stuff that I do, but I've taken a look at some of the speakers that we've had, and I get a lot out of their talks.
of course, yeah.
And I've been around for a while, in this, and so I think when you have a better product, when you serve people, when you have something that of a quality service, people enjoy that and they're willing to support it.
Yeah, they definitely are.
yeah.
And we've, like you said, we've had a variety of speakers, and we appreciate all of the speakers that have come out and supported us, and we appreciate the support that we're getting from the viewers. So thank you very much.
Yeah,
So
it
yeah,
helps.
yeah. So you're going to be out on October 10th,
Yep,
11 o'clock, Pavilion Number 1.
correct.
On October 31st, which is when is Halloween?
October 31st.
Halloween. Yeah. So we're going to
Well,
have
that's typically what it is. Let me see. That's typically when it is. But I don't know. Let me just check a calendar here. Let's see. October 31st is a Sunday, so I imagine that's Halloween.
Yeah, so we're going to have a Sunday service on October 31st, and we're going to be at we're going to be at the Red Bank Community Center, and so we'll have more information on that coming up. But we'll be meeting there in person.
Yeah.
On October 31st, and we'll meet there again at the Red Bank Community Center on November 28th.
Okay.
And that's going to be we're going to have a Thanksgiving leftover potluck dinner on that day.
That'll be great.
Yeah, just bring your leftovers.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the 28th. And then on the 19th of December, we're going to have a candlelight service. Tell me a little bit about that candlelight unity service. How does that usually work?
Well, gosh, let me think. I only did about 15 or 20 of them. Yeah. Let's see.
I'm sorry to catch you off guard. We can go back to that if you like. I can announce the other one.
Well, the thing about the candlelighting service is we went through, as I recall, we went through the stations of Christmas, and we would light candles for each one of those, and we would talk about that a little bit, and there's a lot of music involved, more so than most services, and then at the end we would have a circle, and everybody had a candle. We'd light those, and we would sing Silent Night or something like that. Very powerful. It was good.
So we're looking forward to that. That's going to be December 19th. Again, that's at the Red Bank Community Center. And then we have January 9th, we have the Burning Bowl. I love the Burning Bowl.
Yeah, Burning Bowl is great.
Yeah, I love that.
Get rid of all your old stuff.
Yeah, I love getting rid of my old stuff. And make room for the new stuff. And we actually burn a piece of paper, like flash paper.
Yeah, it's flash paper, and we will have flash paper available for everybody. Oh, good Lord.
It's cool.
We'll have flash paper available for everybody, and instructions. You know
How to burn,
how to
right,
do
yeah,
it.
Yeah, because I think we don't want to cause any fires because that paper can actually.
Well, we had a couple instances, and one was somebody lost their flash paper, so they just took a regular piece of paper, wrote it down, and when they put it in there,
It caught fire.
yeah, it did.
And they didn't do it on purpose. They just didn't know. They were trying to contribute to the whole process of letting go.
Exactly.
And it caught fire.
And then the other thing that I always encourage, especially the women, is that if you have a long sleeve that kind of hangs down, or a scarf or something like that, then don't be leaning that.
Right.
Just be aware. That's all. And I show people how to do it in the beginning, and we also have a fire extinguisher there. But more so than that, people get a lot out of it.
Yeah.
It's a time when we put down the things that maybe are bothering us a little bit, and the fact that you write it down, and we do a prayer, we do a meditation about releasing and letting go, and then you actually burn it, and very, very powerful.
So we're looking forward to that on January 9th. Now, is that also the sandstone? Is that the same ceremony where you? Well, no, there's a unity ceremony where we write down something, and then it gets mailed to us a year later.
Yeah.
What is that?
That's the white stone service.
Yeah.
And what it is, where the white stone comes from, it's actually a piece of. It's a little. It's about half the size of a domino.
It looks like an old eraser from back when we were kids. Remember the square erasers?
Yeah. And basically what it is, it's from a quarry around Jerusalem. And back in Jesus' time, if a prisoner was let go, he'd served his time for whatever crime he'd committed, they would give him a white stone. And that white stone was symbolic of a release and go forth and have a great life type of thing. And it was actually something that was in the culture at that time. It's in the Bible somewhere, probably Revelation, now that I think about it. But we'll read that passage, and we'll talk about what it is and why it's important. And, it's something else. And what happens... in that year, typically the year before, we write a letter to God, okay? And in that letter is what we want to create in our life, and what we're willing to do. And those letters are collected, and then they're mailed out to people about a week or week and a half before that service, so that they can get their letter back.
But that letter was created a year before.
Yes.
And so you're actually... look, when you get the letter, I was surprised a couple times that I've gotten it. I was surprised, like, I wrote a letter to myself, and then I opened it up, and I had to look to see if I actually got what I asked God for.
And how'd that work?
And it worked out that I pretty much got what I asked God for. So it's amazing. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that service. Yeah.
And oftentimes when we talk about the law of mind action, it's more than just thinking about it. It doesn't necessarily have to be overt actions, the to-do list and all that, but it's something that's on your mind. Okay, it's something that you can speak it, and you can write it, you can picture it. Those vision boards that we talked about. There's a number of different ways to do it. But what is interesting, especially for people who've been with Unity for a long time, you hear about these spiritual laws on Sunday morning, and they sound great, and by 10 o'clock Monday, you've forgotten all about it.
Right.
But what happens with some of these ceremonies is you can say, a year ago I was thinking about this, and this is what I was going to do, and I did these things, and lo and behold, they happened. And they came about even better than perhaps I thought, that sort of thing. So it's a beautiful way of taking a snapshot of what your life has been for a while, and what you've been thinking about, and what that sort of thing. It's really quite nice.
Yeah.
So when we
you definitely have the evidence of what you were the evidence to see
Yeah.
what's been going on in that year.
And oftentimes, how it came about. And oftentimes, what you can do is you can look at perhaps the coincidences in your life, and then you realize that maybe it wasn't a coincidence.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it was something else. And one of the things I think I shared on one of these podcasts a few weeks ago was a vision that I had when I was in ministerial school of an angel, a large angel behind each one of us, and kind of whispering in our ear and talking with the angels of other people, and lo and behold, the right people come together at the right time, and that sort of thing. And so when you get that letter and you reflect back on what your goals were the previous year and what's happened during that year, it's sometimes pretty amazing. So.
This is definitely a movement about being involved in your life. And it's definitely a practical spirituality.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
It's good.
So we got those classes coming up on those Sunday services. And so, you guys are welcome to come out. We're going to have that in person at the Red Bank Community Center on the dates that I mentioned. And also we're going to be live on those days on Facebook. So if you can't make it, you can view us on Facebook. And guys, don't forget that you can also share us. You can share our midweek faith lift. You can share this with your friends right now. If you like, you can share it with friends on your Facebook page or your Facebook friends list, or with your family members. And also, we have a class tomorrow.
Fayanne does.
Our Reverend Fayanne.
Yeah, tomorrow night.
Yeah. You want to tell us a little bit about that class?
Yeah. Here's something that Penny wrote that she wanted me to share with you. Said, and this is about Fayanne's class, when we look at the world today, it seems that our minds have a natural tendency to not only judge others, but to judge ourselves as well. On Thursday evening, September 30th, from 6 to 7 p.m., Reverend Fayanne Schmidt is going to hold a Zoom class on judgment and talk about how it can be useful to help you reach a higher consciousness. Then the next time we meet in person on October 10th, she will hold a second hour-long class following the service. And we were just talking with Fayanne a few minutes ago, and what she's doing is she's putting something on the internet, some questions that you might want to print out and ask yourself as a preparation for this. And here's something that Fayanne said. She said, recently I have observed myself looking at other people or situations and judging them negatively. I thought I was accepting of everyone and everything. This new awareness surprised me. So it is another layer of the onion to peel off. I started meditating and reflecting on the idea of why I would judge others. I was more surprised to find out that it was really about me, and it always is. That's an excellent observation. They are holding up a mirror for me to see me. I invite you to join me in exploring this path to raising our consciousness and be accepting of others and situations that people may need for their own evolution to a higher awareness and consciousness. The following are questions that may assist you in exploring your thoughts. You may find additional questions. Is there a pattern or specific area that appears to you? And then she lists a whole bunch of questions, which I'm not going to go into, but those will be available.
Yeah, we'll probably get those questions, make those questions available to anyone that's going to be that's interested in attending the class. I'm going to put up a contact, our email if you're interested. We can send out that Zoom information to you, and it's contact@unityofchattanooga.org. If you're interested in attending that group, the judgment group that Reverend Fayanne is going to be holding tomorrow from 6 to 7 on Zoom, email us and we'll get that Zoom information to you. Listen, this is another great way to get involved in the whole practical Christianity, spiritual development process, right? I mean, it's not. It's about meeting on Sunday, but it's also about doing the work if you want to get better, right? I'm definitely going to be there because I have some issues with judgment myself. So I'm definitely going to be there tomorrow.
Well, I can't tell you, how many times I'm just great in meditation and the world is great until that SOB cuts you off in traffic.
That SOB.
It's a whole different.
Right. Yeah.
And the funny part about that, you can't say that doesn't count. because it does.
Does count.
It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
You know, I was riding with a friend of mine the other day who drives like a
Bat out of hell.
a NASCAR driver.
Really?
You know, and it just, and anybody who gets in front of him, you know, this anger and stuff comes up. And, you know, I didn't say anything to him, but what's going on is, you know, somebody cuts you off in traffic, or you're just constantly going too fast. What's that about?
Yeah.
Because there's something in here that's driving that.
Right.
You know, something that's, and to have a hair trigger that close,
Yeah.
man, you're just miserable.
Right. We need to take a look at that.
Yeah.
It'd be a good idea to take a look at that. Yeah. I was in the car. I let Courtney drive a couple of days ago, and for the first time, my car, and he was going like really fast. And
Yeah.
I didn't say anything to him. But after he got out of the car, I told myself he will never drive the car again.
There you go.
You know, he can drive his own car,
Right.
But he won't be driving mine. Not while I'm in it. You know, and that's the easy way to deal with it. I don't have to criticize you. I
Yeah.
don't have to tell you how much of
What
an
a-
awful driver you are. I'm just gonna
What
when
a-
I'm in the car with you, I'm gonna drive. It's my car, so I'll just drive. Keep it
So
simple.
what if he asks to drive your car?
I'm
What are
gonna
you
say,
going to
no, I got it.
say?
Well, he probably knows now why he can't drive it.
Yeah.
Not while I'm in it anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's all about like growing in this process, and,
Yeah.
and this is another opportunity. So tomorrow, from between 6 and 7, I invite you to join Reverend Fayan on a Zoom call to talk a little bit about judgment, answer some of
Yeah.
those questions.
You know, and just for the heck of it, let's see what the big guy said about judgment.
Cool.
Okay, and this is from Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. It's found in Matthew chapter 7. Here's what he says: "Do not judge, so that you may not be judged. For with the judgment you make, you will be judged, and the measure you give will be the measure you get. Why do you see the speck in your neighbor's eye, but do not see the log in your own eye? Or how can you say to your neighbor, 'Let me take the speck out of your eye,' while the log is in your own eye? You hypocrite! First take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your neighbor's eye." You know.
They used to say back in the day. They still say it now. When one finger is pointing at you, 4 is pointing back,
Yeah.
and it's so true. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff that we see in other people, it's a revelation sometimes of what's going on in myself.
And sometimes, you know, we have an innate ability to for discretion, and discretion and judgment kind of go hand in hand. So, you know, how do you balance something like that?
Yeah.
Well, one of the easiest ways that I do it is when I'm with a group of people, you know, and somebody's saying something I really don't like. There's various ways you can address that. Number one, you can say, "Well, here's another thought," or "Thanks for sharing," which was a favorite way of flipping people off when I was in seminary. You know, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing. But you can just say, you know, I have a different opinion. I look at it differently, and then express yourself. You know, if you know certain situations are going to occur, and that's not what you want to be involved with, then don't go.
Don't even involve
Don't
yourself
go.
in it. Yeah.
Take a different path. Yeah. You know, I think it was Deb Moore was our speaker last week.
Deb Moore came out,
and she did an excellent job.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I remember about her talk was, you know, she started doing some things differently in college, and pretty soon the old passed away, and then there was a new life. You know, and that has to do with judgment. That has to do with your actions. And self-reflection. So
automatically they begin to just peel away, go away. Yeah.
And one of the biggest things about the spiritual journey is becoming aware of what's going on inside. You know, is that something that you want to continue, or is it something that you want to release and let go? and self-awareness, and this is great.
Yes, yeah.
Self-awareness is the key to the whole spiritual journey. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to myself. Hey, we got also we have on the this Sunday at 11 o'clock on our Facebook page, we'll have John Scott will be back.
Yeah,
John
former
Scott,
minister.
Yeah, former minister John Scott will be back, and he'll be talking about the awakening.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's going to be this Sunday at 11 o'clock. So again, join us at 11 this Sunday. Just check him out. Also, we have our homeless. On that day, we're going to have our homeless outreach box there for people who want to contribute to the homeless outreach ministry that we have right now going on downtown Chattanooga. So if you have any non-perishable items that you want to bring to the service, no, that's not this Sunday. On the 10th, when we meet in person,
right?
When you're talking
right.
in person at Pavilion 1, we're going to have the box out that day. And so on the 10th, you're welcome to bring your non-perishable items and any items you have that the homeless can use, like toothbrushes and stuff like that. And,
right. Or socks.
Or socks, yeah.
That's always a big thing.
Socks is big. Any personal item, female personal items, male personal items, on the 10th of October. So, yeah. And if you want to volunteer to help us out, because we're going to be going downtown on the 20th, I think it's the 23rd. Let me look this up real quick. Yeah, that's on the 23rd. We're going to have our outreach downtown Chattanooga. We're going to go back to that tent city. You going to hang out with us again, Doug?
What day is that?
That's the 23rd.
Yeah, but what day of the week is it?
October. I think it's a Saturday. I'm not absolutely sure.
Let me just check.
But definitely October 23rd, we're going to be going downtown again to the
yeah, it's a Saturday.
A Saturday, yeah. We're going to go downtown to Tent City again, and we're going to just give out those supplies that we're getting from our members.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's on the 20th.
I'll be there.
The 23rd. Cool. Yeah. And what else is going on, Doug? Before we end.
Oh gosh.
So much stuff is going on.
You know, it was kind of funny.
We used to just talk about stuff.
Yeah,
now we got all these notes and stuff.
It's amazing how that works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it was kind of funny because you mentioned just before we started our conversation this afternoon that you felt rushed and, you know, it was kind of last minute and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the funny part about it is we have a landscaper that helps with the front lawn. And today was the thatching, you know, where they, what do you call it, aeration?
I don't know what that is, Doug. You need to explain that.
All right. Well, what aeration is, if you...
You know, I'm a city boy.
You're used to concrete,
I'm
right?
used to concrete.
Okay.
I'm used to concrete.
Well, if you got a front lawn or if you've got a lawn, one of the things that you need to do almost on an annual basis, it's called aeration. And basically what it is, there's a machine with a whole bunch of, you know, it's a cylinder and there's plugs. So it goes along and the plugs go in and these little plugs come up. And what that does, it allows the soil to what do I want to say?
Air.
Aerate. Okay.
It oxygen or whatever.
Yeah. In other words, sometimes if you look at a path in the woods, people are just constantly tramping down on the thing, and grass will not grow. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to, you know, whatever that means, tear it up a little bit, and then they reseed it, and which is what they did today. And the funny part about it is he was running late. And he left like 30 seconds before you pulled in.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And what I was afraid of, because sometimes you know, a neighbor will be running the blower.
Right.
We had a nuisance bird this afternoon just squawking away and all those kinds of things. I was afraid he was going to be doing the aeration while we were trying to do this.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen.
It didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
Is it noisy? Is that a noisy process?
Well, it's like a lawnmower.
Okay.
You know, I mean, there's probably a 5-horse engine on the thing.
Wow.
And then, you know, it looks like a modified lawn tractor. Okay. So instead of the blades going around this way, you've got a drum that goes this way and it tears it up.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
So Doug has been my introduction into country. Is this southern living to some extent.
I guess.
Yeah, and so I've got the little. Last week, Doug gave me a bird feeder holder.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I plugged that into my backyard last week, and so I went out to Birds Unlimited.
Yeah.
We plugged that in Chattanooga.
Right.
And I got some bird seeds.
Yeah.
And I didn't set it up yet, but I have a little bird
Bird
feeder,
house? Yeah,
bird
okay.
feeder, and so I'm looking forward to putting the seeds in the bird feeder and hanging it up and just
That's
allowing
great.
the birds, yeah. Because
That's
I've
great.
always been a nature person.
Yeah.
But just to be in the backyard and just to watch that whole natural process happen, that's a form of spiritual practice. That would be a form of spiritual practice for me.
I think so. You know, just before you came, I was kind of looking over the back porch here, and I counted, I think it was 14 robins just in the backyard. And on any given day, there's a whole bunch of squirrels, there's chipmunks, there's crows, there's all different kinds of birds. My brother gave me one of these cameras that you put on a trail, take pictures and motion detector sort of thing. And we looked at that, at what comes into our backyard at
cool.
night.
Yeah.
And
What did you see?
Well, we've seen raccoons, like
A lot of raccoons.
yeah, a lot of raccoons, but we've seen deer. And you can't see this on the camera, but right over there's quite a jungle between me and the next door neighbor, and there's a fawn that was over in there.
Wow.
We were mowing the lawn one day, and I looked up, and here's this little deer with white spots, its head sticking up out of the foliage.
Was he just laying down?
Well, yeah, he was laying down, and then because I was over in that area, he kind of, or she, I don't know which one it was, it just poked up and looked at me. So, yeah, there's a lot of wildlife around here.
Yeah. And so, it's life outside of us.
Yeah.
I liked it. I never, I kind of thought the world revolved around me. But I'm going to be on. Yeah, back in the day, the world revolved around me. But there's so much more to life than just, going on. And if we, when you put those cameras up, you can see that there's a whole world out there.
Exactly.
That's outside of your head. That's going on.
Well, I never thought there were deer in my backyard.
Yeah.
And then I looked at the camera, and holy cow, there he is,
Right,
or she,
Yeah.
And
And then they have children, and they have to take care of their children, and all kind of stuff going
Yeah.
on. So it's crazy.
it's amazing.
It's amazing, yeah. So yeah, we have a lot going on. So
Yeah.
join us this Sunday at 10:10. No, not 10:10. I gotta get my dates right. Join us this Sunday, and that's I don't know. I wanna be able to
All right, this
I want to be able to do this stuff without looking at my notes, and it's just not possible. I'm not that. I'm not that great.
I've been trying to do that for 15 years.
And I can't. I have to look at the notes.
Yeah.
I want to get to a point where I just know this stuff. But I smoked a lot of drugs back in the day, so that prevents me from.
Oh, you think I didn't?
That definitely has an effect on my.
Well, this Sunday is the third.
The third.
Okay.
John Scott.
John Scott Cyber.
Online.
Yeah, online.
Okay. Help me out, John.
And then 2 weeks from today is the 10th, and
That's
I'm going to
you.
be speaking Pavilion number 1.
And then we're going to have the homeless basket there. If you want to bring anything to help us out with the homeless downtown, you can bring the basket then.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have, you don't know the other dates? The 31st, we're going to have it in person.
Right.
The 28th of November, we're going to have it in person. 12/19, we're going to have it in person, and we're going to have another in person on 1/9. So we got a lot of in person. The weather gets colder, we need to be inside.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we have a place to go.
Yeah.
And we're so grateful for that.
And I've got a snow shovel for this back deck in case
We have
get-
yeah.
We'll figure something
Yeah,
out.
yeah, and we got some other stuff planned. We're going to have some people joining us on the podcast.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, we'll have some people join us in person, and then we can also, I've gotten a little bit more technical, so we can actually have people call in.
That'd be even better.
Yeah, from out of town, and they can kind of talk to us about different things. Any comments going on while we're here before we go? We got a friend from Brooklyn checking us out. That's cool.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. Nothing else going on. I guess we can.
Call it a day.
Yeah, we're calling. Listen, you want to say goodbye? You want to thank our viewers for watching, or you want me to do all of that?
No, you can do all that.
Hey, listen, we want to thank you guys for coming out again on Wednesday and watching us. And we'll be back next Wednesday around 4 o'clock for another midweek faith lift. So thank you again. And
Have a great day.
bye.
See ya.